I just can't. I just can't do another podcast. I can't do any more content. I can't record it. I don't want to edit it. I don't want to level any more audio. I don't want to upload it. And then there's the chapter notes. I just don't want to do it. And the website update, I just can't. Ever had an I just can't day? I have. The problem, it's closed-minded thinking. Let's explore today's show title, I Just Can't. This is episode 14, and you're listening to Craig Ansell from Career Growth Made Easy podcast. Have you ever felt overwhelmed? Maybe overloaded? Does that feeling happen maybe too frequently? If it does, you can lose focus. You can ultimately lose confidence in yourself. I just can't could turn into a concept of failure. Worse yet, when you feel like a failure, you feel that way, not your actions and not your activities. I mentioned in an earlier episode I'm a Christian, and I believe we're all built for a purpose. We're all built for a reason. We all have gifts. Some of them we've seen and we've recognized. Others are still yet to come and still yet to be found. Why do we sometimes feel like I just can't? I believe part of it is the feeling of less than. We're daily bombarded with the feeling of less than in messages. The messages such as, you're not happy enough, you're not tan enough, you're not skinny enough. Then there's the physical possessions. You don't have the newest car. You don't have the newest truck. You don't have the newest style clothes. You don't have the newest style shoes. And it goes on from there. What about where you live? You don't have a big enough house. Now, I want to state a disclaimer. I mentioned earlier about not being happy enough. Depression is real. It affects each and every one of us differently. This show is not a substitute for medical advice. So if you feel that you're depressed or you know someone that is, please seek a doctor. LinkedIn reports that in the 1970s, the average consumer saw about 500 ads a day. Forbes magazine says that they estimate between 4 and 10,000 ads or ad messages are being seen by consumers daily. That's staggering. Now, not all messages are negative. Some are in fact positive, which a good example is Nike, the shoe brand. Just do it. Being bombarded with thousands of messages each and every day can come from sources like ads, logos, brands, billboards, TV shows, commercials, smart devices. Smart devices can have ads and messages. They might be in watches, phones, tablets, PCs at home and work. Then there's music. The ads could be embedded, the stories, the messages could be embedded in the content, and definitely on the commercials. So that allows me to pose a question to you. Do we become what we consume? Food and nutrition, yeah, that's one thing. But what about our audio and visual consumption? I say crap in, crap out. We need to fuel our bodies and also fuel our brains with healthy choices. We may not be able to change the number of ads or messages displayed on the way home or on the way to work or on the way to school, but we can change how they affect us, and we can change what we watch or what we listen to. Back to I Just Can't, this episode title. Let's rewind and take a look at your day, starting first thing in the morning. How do you feel when you wake up? How do you feel mentally? And how do you feel physically? Do we need to rewind and look at the day before Because if you didn't get a good night's sleep, what could be affecting it? You can look back at episode 5, and it was titled, What's in Your Junk Drawer? The episode had a double meaning to the question. First, there's a physical junk drawer like in your house, on your countertop, maybe in your garage. But the second was your mental junk drawer. How much stuff is floating around in your minds? How much stuff is unanswered and still active? To-do lists, task lists, etc. To make sure that you're fueled up for your day, you definitely need to get a good night's sleep. And that good night's sleep needs to be both duration-based and quality-based. The quality can be affected from your prior day, like I was mentioning. We'll go into quality sleep in a future episode. Today's episode focuses solely on you and your choices. By saying I just can't, you're making a choice, a statement, a stand. To illustrate a point, I'll reference Dave Ramsey, who's a financial peace, money, and life coach. My family and I are big advocates. One day he had a caller on his radio show. She asked Dave if it was too late for her to start saving for retirement. I think she mentioned she was in her late 60s or maybe early 70s and had no savings, zero retirement savings. Dave answered the question and said, I don't know, are you? You see how the true question was put back on the caller? Having listened to the show for years, I'll tell you that there's two versions of how this plays out. If she says, I guess I'm too old, his answer is, yep, you're right. Callers typically react defensively at his answer because they expect him to be an expert and to help them. If she says, no, I am not. I'm not too old. I just need some help. I just need some guidance. Then the conversation continues and it goes a lot differently. But what's the difference? You guessed it. Closed-mindedness versus open-mindedness. Believe it or not, you are in control. You, your choices, your actions. This episode was just meant to get you thinking. When we say, I can't, we're telling ourselves we can't do it. And we're telling ourselves that on multiple levels. You have to think the thought, say the thought, and then you hear your thought. We don't realize how much we're sabotaging ourselves potentially daily by saying phrases like, I can't or I won't. Now, I can't is a decision, so is I won't, but I won't might be a choice about doing something versus I can't means you limit yourself. You're 100% sure you cannot do the task or the action. Instead of, I'll try or I'll give it my best shot or what have others done and how have they accomplished this? So, I hope this episode, even in some small way, has helped you, and maybe you can reduce the number of I can't messages in your life. I wish you peace and blessings in this new year, and I hope that Career Growth Made Easy will be on your subscribe button at the end of this show. If you're out there looking for a job and trying to polish your resume, we have an absolutely awesome resource that you can click on in the show notes and get for 100% free. That's right. Again, the link is in most podcast app show notes, or you can go directly to our website, craigancel.com. That's CRAIGANCEL.com/resume and get that tune-up kit immediately. And again, it's 100% free because we want to help you, the listener, the subscriber, to succeed in life. Also, there's a podcast that goes along with it. I think it's either episode 2 or 3 that you should check out because there's some additional tips and content in there. And then, as a bonus, to you, the listener, if you've ever submitted your resume online, no matter how polished or how awesome it was, even if you paid a company to help you with it, do you know there's a high probability that it was rejected? Because there's a tool out there called an ATS, or Applicant Tracking System software, that will scan the resumes when they're uploaded. If they're in the wrong format or have the wrong content, you could be kicked out and never know your resume didn't make it to the other side. So go ahead and go to craigancel.com/ATS. That's Applicant Tracking System, ATS, and you can get that awesome freebie download. We look forward to serving you in the future, and stay tuned because we've got a great show coming up about sleep, how to get quality sleep and realize the things that are affecting you and robbing you from an awesome sleep cycle and strong energy for the next day. This has been Craig Ansell. See you next week.